Virtual. The virtual keyword is used to modify a method, property, indexer, or event declaration, and allow for it to be overridden in a derived class. Fields cannot be virtual. The implementation of a virtual member can be changed by an overriding member in a derived class. You cannot use the virtual modifier with the static, abstract, private, or override modifiers. The derived class may override virtual members in the base class, defining new behavior. The derived class inherit the closest base class method without overriding it, preserving the existing behavior, but enabling further derived classes to override the method. The derived class may define new non-virtual implementation of those members that hide the base class implementations. Using new keyword. Virtual modifier cannot be used with static, abstract, private, and override modifiers. Override. The override modifier is required to extend or modify the abstract or virtual implementation of an inherited method, property, indexer, or event. You cannot override a non-virtual or static method. The overridden base method must be virtual, abstract, or override. An override declaration cannot change the accessibility of the virtual method. Both the override method and the virtual method must have the same access level modifier, public, private, protected, internal. You cannot use the new, static, or virtual modifiers to modify an override method. An overriding property declaration must specify exactly the same access modifier, type, and name as the inherited property, and the overridden property must be virtual, abstract, or override. Overrides a virtual/override method. And if you create object of a base class against derived class, which has overridden the base class method, then the object will point to the overridden method instead of base class virtual method. As shown in below example. Class base class. Public virtual void printing. Console.writeLine, base class called. Class derived class, base class. Public override void printing. Console.writeLine, derived class called. Class another derived class, derived class. Public override void printing. Console.writeLine, another derived class called. Class new class, another derived class. Public new void printing. Console.writeLine, new class called. Class program. Static void main, string, args.
Base class objbcc equals new base class.
Objbcc.printing, / base class called. Base class objbd equals new derived class. Objbd.printing, / derived class called, as base is overridden by derived. Base class objdc equals new another derived class. Objdc.printing, / another derived class called, as it overrides all other. And we are creating object against another derived class, which has the latest overridden method. So base's object will use another derived class's printing method, and not of derived or base. Base class objbn equals new class. Objbn.printing, / another derived class called, here new keyword is not in picture. As we are creating obj of base against new class. So new class has two methods: inherited overridden printing, and new keyword method. Since we are creating object of base, it will go with inherited. If we were creating object of new class, then printing will hide inherited method. Derived class objdn equals new class. Objdn.printing, / another derived class called. New class objnc equals new class. Objnc.printing, / new class called.
Abstract. The abstract modifier indicates that the thing being modified has Abstract class. The purpose of an abstract. The abstract modifier indicates that the thing being modified has a missing or incomplete implementation. The abstract modifier can be used with classes, methods, properties, indexes, and events. Use the abstract modifier in a class declaration to indicate that a class is intended only to be a base class of other classes, not instantiated on its own. Members marked as abstract must be implemented by non-abstract classes that derive from the abstract class. Use the abstract modifier in a method or property declaration to indicate that the method or property does not contain implementation. Abstract class. The purpose of an abstract class is to provide a blueprint for derived classes and set some rules what the derived classes must implement when they inherit an abstract class. Calculating area, which can be inherited, and the area calculation can be overridden by using area of any shape. An abstract class cannot be instantiated. An abstract class may contain abstract methods and accessors. An abstract class cannot be sealed or static. An abstract class inheriting another abstract class with abstract methods need not implement the base abstract class methods. A non-abstract class inheriting abstract class must implement all the abstract methods and accessors of base class. Then, abstract class can inherit from a non-abstract class and one or more interfaces. An abstract class can implement code with non-abstract methods. An abstract class must provide implementation for all interface members.
Inheriting static class is not possible, because if you check IL for a static class it will show it as sealed, which means it cannot be inherited. Yes, we can have abstract class and a class can be made private, protected, private protected and protected internal only if they are nested class. We cannot use private access modifier with abstract or virtual members, as we use abstract and virtual members with an intent to override them. If they are marked private, they won't be accessible. Abstract methods. An abstract method is implicitly a virtual method, but it cannot be explicitly marked virtual, i.e. public abstract virtual void method, not allowed. Abstract method declarations are only permitted in abstract class. Syntax public abstract void my method. The implementation is provided by a method override, which is a member of a non-abstract class. Not possible to use static or virtual modifiers in an abstract method declaration. Non-abstract class inherited by abstract class X. Abstract properties behave like abstract methods, except for the differences in declaration and invocation syntax. It is an error to use the abstract modifier on a static property. An abstract inherited property can be overridden in a derived class by including a property declaration that uses the override modifier, public abstract double area, get, if overriding. Properties are only going to use get and not set. If set is also defined in overriding property, then an error will be thrown. Sealed. When applied to a class, the sealed modifier prevents other classes from inheriting from it. Class B inherits from Class A, not sealed, but no class can inherit from Class B if it is marked sealed. Sealed. When applied to an override method, Class Z cannot override sealed method F from Class Y. When applied to a method or property, the sealed modifier must always be used with override. Sealed methods can be replaced by derived classes by using the new keyword. Sealed keyword is used to stop inheritance of method or class, a method, indexer, property, or event, on a derived class that is overriding a virtual member of the base class can declare that member is sealed. This negates the virtual aspect of the member for any further derived class. This is accomplished by putting the sealed keyword before the override keyword in the class member declaration. For X, public sealed override void do work. Virtual methods will have definition and abstract methods only have declaration. Override keyword can be used with virtual, abstract and override. It is an error to use the abstract modifier with a sealed class because an abstract class must be inherited by a class that provides an implementation of the abstract methods or properties. We cannot instantiate abstract class, as it may consist of abstract methods without definition. Base class with virtual method dash inherited by abstract class dash method becomes abstract override. New keyword when used as a declaration modifier, it explicitly hides a member that is inherited from a base class. When you hide an inherited member, the derived version of the member replaces the base class version. Although you can hide members without using the new modifier, you get a compiler warning. If you use new to explicitly hide a member, it suppresses this warning. New keyword can be used to hide inherited methods of type virtual, override, or without any of this. New keyword is used for creating objects of class for array. No need to use new keyword to hide the inherited method. It anyways does that. If you use new to explicitly hide a member, it suppresses this warning. It is an error to use both new and override on the same member, because the two modifiers have mutually exclusive meanings. The new modifier creates a new member with the same name, and causes the original member to become hidden. The override modifier extends the implementation for an inherited member.